only just going to wind up the complete product market fit, but what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take uh, uh, a specific inputs on. Uh, I'm also going to give you specific inputs on the four P's of marketing, more from the product market fit perspective, and be rest assured that you would not have got or you would not get any of these things in your regular literature. It is all what was done, what was practiced, and what was there, it is there, right? And so now, without much delay, let us begin the Rajeev YSR show. Before we start, I would definitely like to know where are you watching from, which place of this country are you watching from, and which platform. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Periscope. We are live on all these four channels. So I would definitely like to see to understand where are you watching from, right? Um, yeah, so you can drop in your comments, and I would like to see where you're watching from, and let's make this Rajeev YSR show uh, more profitable and beneficial for all of us. Yeah. Whom is this Rajeev YSR show helpful? I'm sure I've been repeating this, but let me repeat it again. This will definitely help. I'll start from the hierarchical perspective. It will help students in assimilating their concepts, in understanding their concepts, and bringing the right understanding into their perception. It will definitely help the professionals to kind of understand how they're doing in their career, and it will also give, if what they're doing is right, or there are certain things that are to be changed, that are to be corrected. Of course, it will give us, it will give that information to them. And for the startup founders and entrepreneurs, and this will help you to kind of validate whether you're going on the right track, whether you're understanding the right things or not, right? So with all these things into context, I'm getting multiple calls, but I'll just put these particular things on hold. With all these things in context, so let us begin the Rajeev YSR show, and I'll be happy to see where your there is some delay from your comments to whatever it is. So nevertheless, don't mind. We will try to figure that out. Okay. So okay. So let us begin this. So far we have done multiple topics. Can you see my screen, full screen? If so, say yes, you are able to see the full screen. Let me know if you can see the full screen. Yeah. So I'm sure you're able to see the full screen. And without much delay, let's begin this particular thing. So I will be talking about. So far we try to understand what exactly product market fit, and also we looked at. I'm just brushing up the previous examples. I'm just brushing up the previous episodes. So that it will benefit and give continuity to them. And whosoever are watching here for the first time, or even whosoever is watching there on the live, please feel free to mention where you're watching from, which city you're watching from, and whether you are a student or you're working or are you an entrepreneur. Please do help giving us that information. And I also advise you to kind of like and share this particular video as you watch. Right, the literature also says that why 20% more than, I mean, why startups fail more than 40%. The reason is because there is no product market fit, right? And I've also done a LinkedIn survey to that context, and very rightly, 44% people communicated that that's because of not having the right product market fit. Then I always believe for any organization, any startup to succeed, these three P's have to fall in place. One is product, the second one is process, and third one is people. And now we are talking about the most important thing of all these three, that is before product and before process and people comes the product. Let's move on. So we saw, right, this individually could be a great product and this individually could be a great market, but the great product and great market doesn't make any sense. It's not a product, it's a definite misfit. Similarly, look at desert as a market and look at this as a product. Again, they don't fit it at all. The right product market fit happens when you bring the right product into the right environment and the right ecosystem. That is when the right product market fit happens, right? This is what we learned. Now, we also saw that nature is the best teacher to learn things from nature, because you see different animals and look at their ecosystems, animals as products and the ecosystem as markets. You see them fitting to the best, right, possible way. Then we also looked at whether product comes first or market comes first. So we thought it is a chicken or egg story, but it is no longer a chicken or egg story. It is very clear. It is always the market that comes first, because only when there is a need, only when there is a problem, market is equivalent to, again, a problem statement, right? Only when there is a need and when there is a problem, you can kind of design a solution. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Just for those of you who are watching for the first time, let me introduce myself. This is Rajeev YSR, the founder and CEO of Wellsprings Consulting Private Limited. And I'm a bachelor's and master's from IIT Madras in 2010 batch. Worked with multiple organizations such as Bosch, Mahindra & Mahindra, TVS Motor Company, Topper.com, and recently the Chief Operating Officer of Avan India, which are into last mile deliveries through EVs. So this is a brief about me. Now the question, why do you do the Rajeev YSR Show? It's my desire that while I was growing up in my career, I always wanted somebody to kind of mentor, to coach, to look forward to, and with whom I can discuss and understand and take things forward. And unfortunately, I could not get many mentors to the kind of liking that I wanted. But that was when I realized that when I get an opportunity to be a mentor, I kind of mentor people and help them grow and achieve their fullest potential. And it is with that context I've decided to run this Rajeev YSR Show, where every week I talk about different topics. Previously, we have covered the 10x growth topic, and then we started product market fit. And going forward, we would also, very recently, we covered entrepreneurship, innovation, and startup ecosystem. And going forward, there are already certain people whom I have interacted with and I've interviewed. I'll be live telecasting the interviews with them. These are founders of different startups, the chief business development officers of established MNCs, so that you can learn and benefit from them. Why is it that I'm doing all of this? Because this is my way of giving back to the society, and this is where I find my kick in, right? So let's continue. Then we also looked at the PALMS framework of how to identify the market and how to prepare yourself for the market, where P stands for prowl. We said that we should explore the market. We should be like watching out like a prowling lion. We need to look out for opportunities to add value. And one way of doing that is we need to empathize like a customer. We need to reflect upon the pain points of the customer and the market opportunities that the market provides, right? Then even in this, I have given the 4-step formula. This is very, very important. What are the 4 different ways through which you can identify or you can explore the market? Number 1, keeping a close watch on government policies and regulations. Number two, understanding and following the changing market trends or the customer behavior. Number three, empathizing and understanding the customer issues. And number four, watching out for black swan events such as COVID, right? This I will not go in detail. You can visit the previous episodes and then see what each of these things are. When we rightly understand this particular problem, and when we realize that our passion to solve that problem fits, when the problem in the market and our passion to solve fits, that is where I call it as 2P fitment, where the opportunity and strength needs to match. Yeah. So comprehensive definition is, how do I solve a problem that mankind is facing in a new and better way? And in the process, how do I make money? And that money, we make it through the product or the service that we bring. Opportunity and strength needs to match. Yeah. How do I solve a problem that mankind is facing in a new and better way? And in the process, how do I make money? Yeah, Girish Patan Shetty, Mr. Girish, you're watching on LinkedIn. Thank you. So which place are you watching from? I'll be very happy to know people. Whosoever have just joined, please mention where you're watching from, right? Then the second A, PA stands for articulation. Now that you have looked at the market, now that you have tried to identify different opportunities in the market, right? Now, the next question is, how do you articulate that problem statement? That's very important, right? You need to understand how do you articulate that particular problem statement, right? And then the litmus test whether you have identified the right problem statement is, if you are able to easily explain and understand that particular, easily explain and understand to anybody without using presentations, etc., that means that you have understood the problem statement rightly, correct? And then again, we said, once we understand the problem, once we define the problem statement, we don't have to invent anything new. We need to look at the available solutions in the market and then see if any of these solutions would be, with minor modifications, innovations, improvements, and change, can make sense to that particular problem. Again, I said, we need to have multiple designs, and we need to experiment with multiple designs to get different feedbacks. Now, what is the litmus test whether your design is good or bad? The litmus test is that your design must be simple, executable, and scalable. Then we also looked at the last one, PALMS. That is, once you derive at the, I would say, once you derive at the minimum viable product, you build that minimum viable product once you arrive at that particular solution. And always remember, you need, if at all you are a little worried about your product, have this particular concept in mind: fail cheap, fail early, and turn around, and be prepared for multiple iterations, right? You all know how Thomas Alva Edison's, right, which number of experiment kind of really brought the right invention, right? Even in terms of Wright brothers, after how many failures were they able to make one aircraft fly, right? If those great men take so many attempts, I'm sure we also must be prepared to make multiple attempts in bringing our solution, right? And always early adopters' response is always critical. And then we also said iteration, right? Once you formulate that particular solution, you test and evaluate. You need to identify your target group rightly, persuade them for their feedback. Once you get their feedback, come back to your drawing board, understand whether your solution is meeting their requirements. And always remember, right, it is very easy, especially for entrepreneurs, right, to be deviated by different feedbacks that you get from the market. Always stick to your problem. Don't stay or don't sway away from your problem unless it is required, right? And again, speed is the key way to avoid influence of market dynamics, and benchmark existing products, competitors' pricing, and in the whole process, the way your product is interacting with the customer, and then the way the customers are having an experience of the product is very important. Keep a very close watch on the UI UX, right? So as we said, we need to have a balancing act of technology and the cost of the product. We saw how making the right choice is important. Then we also saw this particular examples, right? For example, this looks very, very similar to an iPod, but this is not an iPod. That is Microsoft Zoom, correct? Which is a Me Too product to an iPod, but then that never succeeded. Though it comes from a very strong player called Microsoft, it never succeeded. Why? Because it's a Me Too product, similar price, no much differentiation between that particular product. And if at all you are saying that a mere Me Too product is is something that you are chasing, be careful, my friends. It may not be a good idea. While that was an example, this looks like iPhone 12, but then let me tell you, that's not an iPhone 12. This is an iPhone 12, iPhone 10, and what that is Xiaomi's Mi 8. This is again a Me Too product, almost considered as clone of iPhone, but the biggest differentiator here is price, and then you know the success story of it, right? Similarly, look at the product called Arvind Kejriwal and look at the Delhi as the market, right? It really succeeded well in that particular market, and this is the right example of product market fit. Now we have seen all of that. Then we also saw the example of Tesla, right? We saw the example of Tesla, how in 2003, the General Motors almost destroyed that EV1 prototype. And when Elon Musk got into picture, he invested some money. And then they have made a three-tiered strategy. They have made a three-tiered strategy where first they thought that electric vehicles as such needs the technology to be demonstrated, and then hence position that product as a high quality, high end and sought after product, and then bring the volume product or product for masses. You know what, over the 15 years they never deviated from this strategy. That's a very interesting thing. And see, as I said, in 2008 they came up with Roadster, which is an SUV, which costs at around $100,000 plus. And then in 2012, they came up with the high-end sedan, which is again around $70,000. Now look at them. All of these are those are kind of they made their own market. They made their own statement. All of them were very strong, technically highly competitive product. And now we see Model T, which is targeted at around $30,000, which is more a people's car. And you know, when the product market fit and then the go to market strategy is right paka, and it was adhered to consistently with discipline, you know what happens? This is what is going to happen. Toyota, which has been in existence for almost centuries, 1.5 centuries, right? One of the oldest auto players, is pushed to number two in terms of market cap by Tesla. Why? Because they got one thing right, which is the product market fit. And now with Tesla coming into India, it is very, very interesting to wait and watch how these things are going to be. Yeah. You have any questions? You want to ask any questions? You want to have anything? Please feel free to respond and to mention, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Right? Let's move on. Yeah. And then now today's topic that we came for is the 4 P's of marketing, and it is from here is where we get or we learn very, very, very important stuff, right? I'm sure all of you know what are those 4 P's of marketing. We would have studied as basics of our marketing, right? What are those 4 P's of marketing? Definitely product placement, pricing, and promotion, right? And now I'm going to talk about pricing, because this is a very, very, very important topic in the complete product market fit. Because sometimes, most of the times, what happens, we get the product right, we get the market fitment right, but then we kind of fail at the pricing. We are not sure whether we should launch our product as a premium product like iPhone or Tesla, like Apple, or we should keep it as an economical product like Xiaomi, right? There is no right or wrong answer. It all depends upon what strategy you adopt and accordingly what you'll follow through. Just for your example, now if you earlier Apple products are to be premium products, but then now when you see those things now, right? Apple products, while the new products continue to maintain that exclusivity and that the premiumness in their product, but then the older products, the cost is being reduced, and those are being pushed into the local market. Pushed into the economical market, right? So nobody is willing to leave any pie unattended or unaddressed. Okay. Now, this is going to be very, very important, my friends. I'm sure you would have never heard of these things so far. And I can guarantee you that if in case you have read this anywhere, please feel free to share those links, and I will agree. But then, according to my understanding, this is never. This isn't nowhere, right? Number one. What are the different types of product pricings and revenue models, right? The different types of product pricings and revenue models are: number one, it is a very, very simple thing which is called markup pricing. What is market pricing? You understand how much does it cost for you to make that particular product, and then you add your possible overheads onto that particular product, and then you add your percentage of profit, and then you arrive at the selling price, you arrive at the sales price. That is what the market pricing. This is one way, right, one way of bringing your product to the market. This is one way of adding the dimension of pricing to your product, right? Now the other way, the second kind of revenue model is a simple retail sales, that is selling over the counter. That means in this case you kind of play more like a trader kind of a thing, because you procure or you acquire these products from some place, and then you sell them over the counter. This is one way of taking your product to the market, and this is one way of building that particular revenue model. And then the third one of doing that business is taking that or positioning the product is the direct sales. Again, direct sales can happen in two ways. One is inside sales, which means through call centers, where you identify who your customers would be. You kind of run marketing campaigns, lead generation campaigns of those to those customers with your product. You capture those leads, and then you have an in-house inside sales team or pre-sales team who kind of call those customers. They explain that particular product to them, and then they kind of try to sell through that particular thing. This is called inside sales. And then you also have outside sales, which is more like a field face-to-face sales or field sales, where the leads that you get, you kind of take an appointment with them, you reach to them, you talk to them, and then you give them this particular services or product. Example, the previous organizations that I worked with, which is Topper.com, we adopted both. We used to have a call center team who used to make calls to the customers and explain the product, and then make those services and product available to the people, and thus ensure that sales happen through calls. We also used to have face-to-face meetings where our direct sales experts or direct sales associates would be on the field, taking the appointment from the customer and then move to them. Then the fourth way of revenue model or putting the product pricing or taking the product forward is the channel sales. And what is this channel sales? Channel sales is basically selling it through agents, whether it is resellers or distributors or whatever, right? These are the kind of the other kind of sales. Then the fifth way of taking your product to the customer is again selling it. Consumers buy from your website. You present your product on your website, and then consumer buy from your website. Again, I'm saying many of the companies use a combination of these. It is not just that all of these are mutually exclusive. No, people might use a combination of these. Say, for example, Topper.com, not just the direct sales, we also used to have web sales. And to a certain extent, we used to have channel sales, but then the contribution is very limited in particular in the numbers, right? And then the other kind of product placement or pricing is subscription based, right? That means instead of selling the product for them for lifetime, you kind of let them use their product for a limited period, and they tend to pay for that particular limited period. Example for this is, say, for example, I'm using Restream as a software right now to live telecast live on LinkedIn, and this is again a subscription based, I would say, product, correct? Then seventh one, data sales, right? Data sales in the sense platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Google, Instagram, or even TikTok, right? For that matter. What are they selling here? They are selling us, or they are selling different products to us. So there is nothing called free in the world, my friends. Understand, if something is given for free, then you are their customer, and that is why they are giving you that bait for free of cost, so that you can be there and you will be targeted as customers to different vendors that that are onboarded to ensure that their business is done, right? You understand there's nothing called free lunch here. So in Facebook, YouTube, etc., you are the product. Again, I'm not saying this is bad or this is good. That is one kind of right, product pricing, and that is one way of revenue model, right? Then again, very similar to subscription based is licensing. You kind of offer number of licenses. For example, AutoCAD, ProE, etc. When they do B2B deals, they talk about number of licenses, number of people that they use, and accordingly they build the billing. And other thing is renting. Say for example, if you look at Furlanco, if you look at the Pepperfry, these kind of new platforms, Rentomozo, all these are again a different models where they kind of similar to licensing and leasing in the software products. And in the physical product, it is more like renting, right? You don't have to buy the product. All you need to do is rent that particular product for a couple of days, and then as per those number of months that you use that particular product, you get to pay them, right? That is what is renting. My friends, I'm sure you are able to understand these things in clarity. If not, feel free to put your questions, feel free to write your questions, and I will be happy to answer them, right? Yeah. So then the next one is freemium model. What is this freemium model? Freemium model is very simple. The basics are given, the basic features are given free of cost, and the basic features are given free of cost. And when you want to go on and add exclusive features, that is when you got to pay them, right? Those are freemium models, or those are, for example, LinkedIn, the regular networking is free of cost, but then if you want to have a job search, or if you want to have if you are into hiring, right? As of course, you can use the free software through few free laptop, and then kind of onboard them and kind of get onto them. But if you want better results, you will have to pay and then become a premium member. Again, just to tell you, LinkedIn Live is not on purchase. It is not given to people who say that I will be a LinkedIn Prime premium member and I'll get LinkedIn Live. No, LinkedIn Live is on invitation based. They kind of look at your profile. They kind of look at what value are you adding to the network, the professional ecosystem. And after that thorough diligence and due diligence and thorough investigation of the profile, that is, and diagnosis of this profile, that is when they gave LinkedIn Live. And I'm very happy that LinkedIn has identified me as one of the value creator or contributor to the community. That's the reason they gave this particular LinkedIn Live. I'm happy about it. And I'm also happy that I'm using this particular facility that is given by LinkedIn to kind of reach out to people, to help them, to educate them, and to add value to them, right? Now, again, other product, the products are free, but then when you want to use them, that is when you need to pay. Say, for example, the products appear to be free, but then for installation, for customization, for training on that particular product, you are charged, right? Then again, affiliate kind of revenue model is there, ad-based revenue model is there. Now, all these 12 are different kinds of product pricings and different kinds of revenue models that exist in the market. And these are different ways of how, while you solve this question, while you solve this problem of product market fit, this is how you can attempt to price your product in one of these 12 ways or in combination of these 12 ways, right? Now, with this, we have come almost to the closure of it. Now, let me talk about placement and promotion. This is very, very important, right? Now, product placement and promotion, how do you place the product and how do you promote the product? This is again a huge topic by itself. I cover this again, especially through a topic called go-to-market strategy. That is where I talk about product placement and product promotion. And hence, in this particular thing, I will not dwell much on it. But just to give you, always you need to bring awareness of this product. How does the sale happen? The sale happens like this, right? First, the customer needs to know that so and so product exists. And once that is where your awareness comes into picture. That awareness that is coming into picture means that making online display or using paid contents or paid ads or email marketing, Facebook marketing, whatever. You need to take that particular product to your customers, right? That is what the first one of awareness means. And then the second one, which is called as consideration. Now, what happens is, now that the customer, imagine the customer has a need and he is aware that your product is there which could meet his need, then he should basically consider purchasing your product, right? That is where you talk about your same product should be spoken about by multiple people. You need to build social credibility. You need to build testimonials about your product, how customers are happy using your products, etc. And that is when you kind of bring you kind of help them consider that particular product. And once that particular product is considered, and at one point when the customer finds the need and his need is irresistible, he kinds of purchases this product. And once the customer purchases the product, it doesn't mean that your interaction with the customer is done, but that is when the other things like after sales service, right? And then loyalty expansion. That means how can you use the same customer for multiple purchases of different products of yours, or how can you bring the network effect of the customers to bring in more customers to buy your product comes into picture, right? So this promotion and placements, I've touched it very at the surface level. Very detailed things would be are available in the go-to-market strategy. Right now, this go-to-market strategy is available on Udemy platform. You can type Rajeev YSR go-to-market strategy on Udemy. You have the complete course there, and more than 15,000 students on Udemy are learning from the courses that I'm sharing there. This is just for your information. And if you think that the courses are expensive there, write to me separately, and I will try to give you free of cost, right? I will sponsor that particular course for you. Again, there is nothing called free. Somebody has to pay for it, and I will probably pay to Udemy and sponsor that particular thing for you. So with this, we have come to the end of what we talk about as product market fit, right? And this today's session is a conclusion of this product market fit. And for the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will probably continue to be on live to interact with you, to understand from you, and to clarify if in case you carry any doubts. I'll be very happy to help you. Yeah, so please go ahead and feel free to post your questions, and I'll be happy to help you. Right. And this today's session. Chiranjeevi from Hyderabad. Great. Chiranjeevi. Sorry, all the Facebook comments I'm seeing just now. LinkedIn comments I was able to see online. And yeah, feel free to post in your questions, and I'll be happy to answer. I hope you're all doing good. The new year has begun with good bang, and now that the vaccine is also in place and it is being distributed, I think, and then the markets are also showing the similar sentiment. The markets are also picking up. It is all getting very interesting. The markets are opening up, which means people who would have lost their jobs during the pandemic, there is a possibility that people can get back their jobs, which is very important thing. And again, with players like Tesla coming into India, the EV ecosystem has become hyperactive, and I'm sure that the EV ecosystem will give many opportunities, right, for the new employees, for the young guys to be accommodated and to be employed. You have any questions, feel free to ask. If there are no questions, in the next couple of minutes, I will close this Rajeev YSR show. Once again, thank you very much for watching this Rajeev YSR show. I'm sure this would have added some value to people who are watching here. If you have students among your community, your network, or if you have professionals who would have started their career just now, I strongly recommend that you share this particular link, this particular videos with them. I've spoken on 10x growth. I've spoken on product market fit. I've spoken on entrepreneurship, innovation, And going forward, I will speak on power of networking. I will speak on the art and science of sales. I'm going to interview different industry experts to bring their understanding here, and then get them bring their understanding here. So there is a lot of action that is going to happen on this Rajeev YSR show. Keep watching, keep following, and keep engaging. Thank you very much. And whosoever is watching the recorded live of it, feel free to mention where you're watching from, whether you're a student or an entrepreneur or which organization that you work for. And I'll be very happy to interact with you in person, right? Once again, thank you very much. All the very best. Good night. Rajiv, always committed to your growth and success. Signing off from the Rajeev YSR Show. Thank you very much.